what this looked like before? Hey, what's up everybody? Ed the Pond Professor here. I am coming to you today from our beautiful aqua garden located at our headquarters, Aqualand in St. Charles, Illinois, also known as the water garden capital of the world. This is an amazing feature and I want to talk to you a little bit about how I was involved in this project. So this was a collaboration project. Brian, Team Aquascape, myself, as well as a long list of certified Aquascape contractors came out to create this incredible piece, but there is some serious engineering necessary in order to pull this off. So stay tuned as I go into all the little details so you can see firsthand exactly how this masterpiece was created. Incredible feature is actually considered a recreational pond designed for multiple uses. Immersion, you could actually swim with these incredible fish. You could also just kick back and relax and view everything from the outside. During the cold months, you could sit back and have a fire adjacent to it. It's a perfect gathering place for a wide variety of activities. But because of all these different uses, there's a lot of different things that we need to take into consideration during the actual design as well as installation process. It's not only this vlog that you're viewing right now, but we created an entire kit system so you could actually build exactly this type of a system step by step with all the necessary pieces and parts. We've also put together an incredible university class. So I spent many hours in the classroom putting together all the information that you're going to need to actually understand the beauty and art of recreational ponds. Standing right now down in the sunken seating area. The reason we had to do this was because of the design for that viewing window. So we had to recess everything down to get the elevations correct. What I want to do right now is take you back to last summer when we started the excavation process, clearing all this stuff out so you could see firsthand exactly how we pulled this off. I am coming to you from the backside of Aqualand. This is the back part of our warehouse as well as our construction area. Things are really moving. We have an incredible team out here right now of certified Aquascape contractors. Let me show you what we're doing. We are staging soil. We pulled out several hundred cubic yards of soil already. You can see some of this nasty muck stuff coming out of the bottom. This is actually really good clay. You can tell by the color of it. When it gets to that blue grayish color, good at holding water. So that's the type of stuff that pond builders look for that are designing and building natural earth and bottom ponds. Right now we are pulling all that soil out and we are getting ready for our bottom elevations. This section here is going to be the sunken seating area, kind of a trench for a footing going all the way around the perimeter. Over here, where Dan is currently sitting, that's the swimming section for the recreational pond. It's going to be that deep water zone. He is digging all of that down. Our final elevation is approximately 5.5 feet below grade. We're taking all of our elevations off of the pergola over here, off of that existing patio. So that's going to be our finished grade. This is going to give us enough depth where we could do a drainage system underneath as well as the proper foundation for all the walls. We will have a sump pump located in this corner, and that's because you can see this entire area is basically like a foundation or a big swimming pool. So we could capture all the groundwater, we could discharge it away from the job site. So the main pond has been excavated. We're going to fill the entire bottom with crushed stone. Literally, we have a hollow space in between the interstitial spaces of that crushed rock, which is going to allow water to flow over to a predetermined point. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put a secondary layer inside, which is going to be a long trench that will have a drainage pipe as well as more of that crushed stone going around it to route just that final layer of water all the way into that sump area. Hard to imagine that we pulled out over 450 cubic yards of soil out of this excavation, which is equivalent to over 30 semi-trucks. So during that excavation process, we discovered groundwater, which is unfortunately a common situation, especially when you start going down deep into the soil. So our solution, very simple, was to come up with a drainage system. This pipe goes 8 feet down below grade. What we have is a traditional sump pump. This is a pump that has a float switch attached to it. So as water starts building up inside of it, the float switch will turn it on and it will evacuate all the water out from underneath this entire sunken seating area, as well as any groundwater that's building up underneath that water feature, because the last thing we want to have happen is stuff to bubble up from the bottom, because then we have a nightmare of a problem. So let's go back last year where you can see firsthand how we solved this problem. That is a 15-inch double wall corrugated polyethylene pipe. It's going to resist the compression of all that gravel and stuff around it. We dug that a foot below the lowest trench in the entire system. So that means all the water is going to have to drain into that lowest point. We put that in place, then we come in with our geotextile material. This is a non-woven geotextile, very tough, very durable. What it does is it spreads the weight out along the bottom of the system. Now we get rid of our pressure points. You can see where we've been driving in and out of here. You're getting some ruts and things. Not a lot, but this is clay, and it's wet clay on top of that. So you get pressure points from tracks, from wheels and things like that. As soon as you put that fabric down, now it spreads that weight out over a bigger area. The key is we put in this like a keyway basically. We have a deep channel going in here, put the fabric in place, we put in our drainage pipe, then we came in with that 3-inch gravel on top, and it pulled all that fabric down inside. Then what we did was we pulled it taut going back to that back wall. Now we have the fabric under tension. As soon as you put that under tension, again, that's going to help to spread the weight out. And when we're talking about putting loads, load-bearing walls, structural walls and things like that, we want to have everything as tight as possible, because that's going to ensure that these walls are going to last decades to come, and that's what we're looking for. Gravel was actually installed, the very next piece that we put in was a large precast concrete panel. It's actually over 8 feet long and 10 feet tall, but right now you could barely see it. And that's because this large precast panel was excavated down into the subgrade to give it the necessary rigidity to hold back tens of thousands of gallons of water. I mean, there is an incredible amount of pressure on this backside. If we didn't design this properly, it would blow this entire wall out and flood the entire sunken patio area, and all of our fish would unfortunately perish. But we designed it properly right from the get-go. We put in that precast panel. We locked everything in place. Once that panel was in place, everything that you could see in and around me is rectangles and or squares. So everything has to be parallel or perpendicular to this glass panel and that precast panel. So once that was installed, the next step was to start laying out all the different walls, and we brought a team from Unilock to assist us step by step to make sure everything was engineered properly to hold back all that water. Now let me take you back to last summer and give you more details on that. Our precast concrete panel has arrived. This is our viewing window for the recreational pond. 8,500 pounds. All right, it is officially off. Now we just gotta set it until we're ready.
In so many ways, you think that doing a formal pond is going to be easier, but I think there's a lot of challenges with it. And the one is just squaring everything up. On a formal or more contemporary type feature, if your lines kind of go like this, it looks ridiculous. Probably just spent a good 45 minutes just to make sure that when we put in this koi window, our fish viewing window, it's square and parallel with that back wall over there.
Excavation is complete. Our bottom elevation, you can see all the groundwater we're getting. Bottom elevation is 9 feet below finished grade. We're going to put in our geotextile fabric. This will give us a load-bearing capacity that increases the load-bearing capacity of the soil. What we were hitting though down on the bottom, it's really hard stuff, but there are veins of sand, and you could actually see it right over here in this corner. See the water kind of pouring in from this back edge over here, and that keeps slumping out. So you have that layer of clay on top and then that more porous material. The bottom is really, really hard. It's going to be a good solid surface for us to work off of. Fabric going in. Next step, 3-inch rock. We are good front to back, we're at our proper distance. So we are 20 feet in the back of this wall to our string level over here. Dan is double checking elevation to make sure that we are just below the patio. All right, Zach, bring her in. So now we're gonna fill that void space with the crushed stone. This was one of the more technical pieces. So now that this is in place, all of our measurements will come off of that wall. So if you enjoyed this as much as I did and want to learn more about installing a glass panel on a pond, definitely check out Blake's Exotic Animal Ranch, where we did a pond for his small clawed Asian otters, or George Mavrakis Coralfish 12G, and you can see that amazing indoor pond.